Welcome all. So it has been very long since I took a class on YouTube, maybe 50 odd days, around 2 months. So hope you all are doing great. Thank you for your affection. So I have come up with again a series of lectures on one of the important topics wherein many students requested me. In fact, they messaged me, sir, please take a YouTube class on psychrometry. So I'll be taking series of lectures on psychrometry, and in fact the schedule is a bit tight for me, but definitely I'll take out some time and I'll try to complete this at the earliest. So today we'll start in a series of lectures on psychrometry. Let us start the first lecture, that is psychrometry 1. Psychrometry 1. Very good. We know, my dear students, before we actually go for air conditioning, you need to condition air. So if you want to condition air, you need to know properties of air. Without knowing proper properties of air, it is not possible for you to condition the air. So therefore, first we need to know properties of air. Psychrometry is the branch of science which deals with the study of properties of air. Okay. Now, before we go into the details of psychrometry, let us see what exactly is air, which is moist air. This is loosely used term, air, and then dry air. Okay, we'll see in detail what is moist air and dry air. Okay, if you see closely air, it is a mixture of different constituents. Okay, what are those? Let's see. We have predominantly nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, some inert gases. Good. But such an air in atmosphere, you rarely find, in fact I would say impossible. Something is also associated in atmospheric air, that is water vapor. WV stands for water vapor. Okay, if you understand clearly, this part of air is non-condensable gas. Later on I will be telling you this is also known as fixed part. Excellent. This is variable part. Why it is known as variable part, I'll be explaining you, don't worry. So when this complete air, actually we call it as moist air, but we rarely use the word moist air, moist air, moist air. Simply we say air. Whenever I say air, it is actually moist air. I repeat, whenever I say air, it is actually moist air. If it is not moist air, then clearly I use the term dry air, wherein all water vapor, when it is removed, so you have only non-condensable gases, that we call it as dry air. And you know very well, this water vapor content, it may vary from 0 to maximum. That maximum I call it as saturation. I'll be talking about that a little later. So you may have more moisture, you may have less moisture. So moisture content is a variable part. So this is variable part, and these non-condensable gases is a fixed part. That's why in air conditioning, that's why in psychrometry, all parameters are generally expressed per unit dry air. Dry air means which is a fixed part, that is non-condensable gases. It is very easy per unit because that is fixed. If numerator, if I keep in denominator fixed part, whatever numerator is changing, I can easily see whether it is increasing or decreasing. It is easy to visualize. That's why air, which is moist air, is a binary component. Two component system. One is fixed part, other is variable part. So it is a two component system. Now, what exactly is psychrometry? It is the branch of science which deals with the study of properties of air, which is actually moist air. So first, before we enter air conditioning, first there is a need for us to know completely all properties associated with air. Once we are thorough with all these properties, then it is very easy, rather it is easy for us to condition air. Good. Now, if you see Gibbs phase rule, according to Gibbs phase rule, P plus F is equal to C plus 2, where F is number of independent intensive variables required to fix the state. To know the thermodynamic state of a system, you need certain minimum number of independent variables, which we call it as degree of freedom. For example, let us take an equation PV is equal to MRT. I know what mass I have taken, what mass of gas. I know the gas constant. If I know pressure and temperature, easily I can calculate with the equation of state. All the state can be fixed, the state can be known. So we need two parameters. So the degree of freedom is 2. Now let us see what is the degree of freedom for a binary component, which is air. Two component system. What are those two components? It is dry air one part, moisture, water vapor one part. So it is a two component system. And you know, my dear students, if you see air, water vapor is in gaseous state. My dry air, which is non-condensable gas, it is in gaseous state. So the complete mixture, if you see air, you are not seeing water separately. It is completely mixed thoroughly. It is in water vapor. Water vapor is in gaseous state. So we have only one phase, that is gaseous phase. So that is 1 plus F is equal to, it is a binary component, that is water vapor and dry air part. So plus 2. So if you calculate, you get F as 3. It means you need 3 independent intensive variables to fix or to know the thermodynamic state of that particular air. Now understand carefully. I need 3 parameters. Once 3 parameters are known, it is very easy for me to know all other parameters which I can get from different equations. But minimum required are 3. Now observe. Let us take air. When I use the word air, it is actually moist air. I repeat, when I use the word air, it is actually moist air. Up say, when I use the word air, please note down that it is moist air. But whenever I say dry air, specifically I say dry air. Okay, it is air, means moist air, means there is water vapor. Good. Let us say this is atmospheric air. This is atmospheric air. This is atmospheric air, atmospheric air, atmospheric air. This is atmospheric air. You know, generally its pressure is 1.013 bar. And you know the temperature. Let us say, I'll give one random value, say 30 degrees centigrade. Later on, I'll be telling you this is nothing but dry bulb temperature. Why it is known as dry bulb, that also I'll explain. Means my complete mixture. Why do I call it as mixture? Because there is water vapor and there is dry part. It is a mixture. That complete mixture is at 30 degrees centigrade. What does it mean? What does it mean? Listen carefully. That complete air is at 30 degree. इसका मतलब whatever they are in, all the mixture is in equilibrium. Means whether it is water vapor, dry air, all are at a single temperature 30. Because when you are touching air, you don't find ki some is at 20 degrees, some is at 30. All is uniform. So completely it is at a uniform single fixed temperature. So let it be 30. इसका मतलब क्या है? Pressure, temperature are intensive properties. So out of 3, I can easily find out 2. I can easily find out 2. Pressure and temperature. But third is not known. But for a binary component system, I need 3 parameters. But I know 2 only. And finding out these 2 is rather easy. I can find pressure, I can find atmospheric pressure 1.013, almost fixed. The temperature, I can find easily with the help of thermometer, no issues, whatever may be the temperature. This also is of no problem. Now the problem is third parameter. If the third parameter is known, I can fix the thermodynamic state. Now the struggle is for the third parameter. So that third parameter can be anything. That anything, I'll put it in terms of psychrometric terms. Psychrometric terms. Psychrometric terms. So this struggle is to find out the third one. Let us see one by one in detail. My dear students, if you see air, whenever I say air, it is moist air. Don't ask me again and again, air ka matlab, sir, are you taking dry air or moist air? When I say air, it is moist air. Ab fir se nahi bataunga. Good. If you take on mass basis, in 100 kg air, roughly 76.5 to 77 is nitrogen. Around 22.5 to 23 is oxygen. Rest is very small. Even if I neglect, it doesn't matter because its influence is very negligible. Now, I'm talking about the dry part. Matlab oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, some inert gases. And if you take the same dry air on volume basis, around 79 is nitrogen, 21 is oxygen, remaining is very little. So on mass basis it is 77 nitrogen, on volume basis it is 79 nitrogen. Mass basis 77, volume basis it is 79 nitrogen. On mass basis around 23 oxygen, and on volume basis it is 21, volume basis it is 21 oxygen. Now I'm talking about dry air part. Chalo. Inert gases or carbon dioxide, its weightage is rather less, so it can be safely neglected without including much error. Now let's go to psychrometric terms. The first question that comes to our mind is, before I go to psychrometric terms, there is a need for me to tell you one of the important points, which is important from interview point of view also. See, before I go to psychrometric terms, let me make this term very clear, my dear students. Let me make this term, जो अब बताने जा रहा हूं, it is very important from interview point of view. Yeah. Okay. Let us take water here. Let us take water in a piston cylinder arrangement. I repeat, I have taken water in a piston cylinder arrangement, and this piston is massless. Let us take this piston massless, and absolutely this water is in equilibrium. Absolutely this water is in equilibrium, no problem at all. Now understand, whenever it is in equilibrium, let us assume this temperature to be some 30 degrees centigrade. मान लो some 30 degrees centigrade. I have water in a piston cylinder arrangement. I have water in a cylinder enclosed with a massless piston. I repeat, massless piston. Now it is absolutely in equilibrium. matlab the piston is neither moving up nor moving down, so it is in equilibrium, mechanical equilibrium. Now we have water at 30 degrees centigrade. Now definitely you know, outside there is atmospheric air, it will exert a pressure on this. Outside there is atmospheric air which will exert pressure. Now inside there is water. My dear students, if there is only one pressure, it will go down, but it is not going down nor moving up. So this water should exert upward force, that I'll write it as P water. It is absolutely in equilibrium, and please note on that these pressures are acting on the same area. So when they are acting on the same area, PA, the downward force is PA, upward force is P water A. So downward force, upward force should balance. So therefore, when both forces are balanced, so I can cancel out area because it is acting on the same area. So P ATM is equal to P water. And please note down that here we have complete water, no other substance. It is a single component, complete water. Complete water, my dear students. Ab dekho. You may be wondering sir, why are you telling all these things? Look at, we'll arrive at some beautiful conclusions. Now, so I would say that this complete water, is at atmospheric pressure. Now, let us heat this water, and the piston is moving at a uniform velocity, let us say. It is a constant pressure process. So we are heating water at a constant pressure. And we have studied in basic thermodynamics, when water pressure is atmospheric, it will start boiling at 100 degrees centigrade. Please don't use the term water boils at 100 degrees centigrade. It's incomplete sentence. You should say water boils at 100 degrees centigrade when its pressure is 1 bar or 1.013 bar or atmospheric pressure. So look at, my dear students, if I show this on TS diagram, okay, now water is at 30 degree, say this is 30 degrees centigrade. Now you are heating, and say this is 100 degrees centigrade. All this I had covered in my basic thermodynamics. Now the phase change occurs. So at what temperature my liquid is converted into vapor? This is my boiling. And the pressure of water throughout the course of heating, the pressure of water is atmospheric pressure. So at atmospheric pressure, it starts boiling at 100 degrees centigrade. But please note down that it is a single component. For a single component water whose pressure is atmospheric pressure, that complete water will start boiling at 100 degrees centigrade. Good. So when water pressure is atmospheric pressure, it starts boiling at 100 degrees centigrade. Fine. Now, one of the students asked me a question. In fact, this was asked in one of the interviews. Sir, the pressure is atmospheric pressure, same as this. Sir, the pressure is atmospheric, surrounding air. It should boil, means I should get vapor at 100 degrees centigrade. But I am finding out vapor at 20 degree, 30 degree, 10 degree. What is that? Is there any magic? Very good question. I repeat. Sir, the question was, water will boil when the pressure is atmospheric. Means at 100 degrees, when the pressure is atmospheric, water will boil at 100 degrees centigrade. Water will start boiling at 100 degrees centigrade. This is my air is at atmospheric pressure. When air is at atmospheric pressure, you are seeing water vapor in air. So it should be at 100 degrees centigrade, but it is not at 100 degrees centigrade. It is at 20 degrees centigrade. understand carefully the difference between this water vapor and that water vapor. Please understand, my dear students, in atmospheric air, the complete air is at 1 atmospheric pressure. The complete air is at 1 atmospheric. What does complete air mean? It means my non-condensable gases, that is dry air and water vapor, both put together, it is at 1 atmospheric. But here only water is at 1 atmospheric pressure. If you have only water, it will boil at 100 degrees centigrade. And if you see Dalton's law of partial pressures, let me write the total atmospheric pressure. Let me designate with PT. That can be written as there is dry air and there is water vapor. There is dry air and there is water vapor. My dear students, if this vapor pressure is, if this is 1 atmospheric, it will boil at 100. But the total atmospheric pressure is 1.013 bar, which is written as 101.3 kilopascal. 1.013 bar is 101.3 kilopascal. That is equal to the total atmospheric air, which is 1 bar, 1.013 kilopascal, is PA plus PV. Means my vapor pressure is, here my water vapor pressure is completely atmospheric, that is 101.3, but here the total pressure is 1013 and my vapor pressure is very much low. You'll be seeing in my subsequent classes it's about 4 kilopascal or 4.5 or 5, something like this, less than 5, something like this, and this is about, let us say, 97 or so. Means my vapor pressure is very much less than 101.3. When the pressure is very much less, let us say this is 4 kilopascal. I repeat, look at carefully. When the pressure is, देखो एक बार, when the total water pressure is 101.3 kilopascal or 1 atmospheric, it will boil at 100. Please observe, it is which one which is boiling? It is water. So therefore, lekin what is the pressure of vapor in air? Very low. It is very much low. Maybe let us say 5 kilopascal, maybe let us say 4 kilopascal, whatever it may be. So definitely at this, the corresponding saturation is maybe, let us say, some value. So definitely it will be less than 100 degree. That's why please understand the difference between this vapor and this vapor. Here it is total complete water vapor is at 101.3, but here it is only the total pressure is 101.3, which comprises, it is a single component, it is binary component. So if the total pressure is 101.3, that's why it is boiling at 100. So as the vapor pressure is very much less than 101.3, so it will boil at less than. That's why if in interviews they ask you, that is atmospheric pressure, this is atmospheric pressure, you should tell that, sir, here the atmospheric pressure, water is at atmospheric pressure, complete water is at atmospheric pressure, that's why it is boiling at 100. But here water pressure is very much less than atmospheric, that's why it is boiling at, you can boil at low temperatures. So therefore, so please observe, when the pressure is decreasing, therefore it is boiling at less temperature, That's why even at very low, let us say even at 30 degrees centigrade, you are seeing water vapor. Why? Because the corresponding vapor pressure is low compared to this total. This is one of the important aspects. Now, you should be very, very careful. Now, my dear students, according to Dalton's law of pressure, the total atmospheric pressure is partial pressure of dry air plus partial pressure of vapor. This total is 1 atmospheric. So what will be the pressure of dry air? It will be less than atmospheric. When can you treat a gas as an ideal gas? A gas can be treated as an ideal gas under low pressure conditions. So definitely the dry air pressure is low. Therefore, I can treat it as an ideal gas. Similarly, what is the partial pressure of vapor? Very low, maybe 4, very low. Means water vapor is existing in gaseous state and its pressure is also very low. When its pressure is very, very low, at low pressure gas, we can treat it as an ideal gas. So please note down that I can treat moist air as a mixture of ideal gases. So you may be wondering, sir, how can I treat water vapor as an ideal gas? As water vapor is existing, its partial pressure is very low. A gas may be treated as an ideal gas under very low pressure conditions. The partial pressure of vapor is very low. That's why you can treat it as an ideal gas. So vapor can be treated as an ideal gas, dry air can be treated as an ideal gas. So it is a mixture of ideal gas. So when you mix both ideal gases, it will behave as an ideal gas. So please note down that. So moist air can be treated as an ideal gas. What is the logic for that? Because the pressures are very low. Therefore, at low pressures, a gas can be treated as an ideal gas. That is the most important point. Now, let's go to the first term, first psychrometric term. Suno dhyan se. So my struggle is all, I repeat my dear students, my struggle is all for third parameter. Because for binary component, we need 3. From this phase rule we have seen. Already pressure, temperature is known, third one. So I will try to explain or try to get the third parameter by using different terms. The first term is specific humidity or humidity ratio, and it is designated with omega. There is one term which is associated with this, loosely used, that is absolute humidity. I repeat my dear students, specific humidity is also known as humidity ratio, but with these terms, one term is associated, loosely associated, that is absolute humidity. Some textbooks, standard textbooks also, they call specific humidity or humidity ratio or absolute humidity. But some other textbooks, they define absolute humidity a bit different. Let us see, first let's see this, then I'll come to absolute humidity. Now, when I say air, it is obviously moist air. Okay, look at now. Can I treat this air as an ideal gas? Absolutely. I told you very clearly. Now, let the total pressure, which we call it as PT, which is nothing but the atmospheric pressure, and if nothing is given, I take it as 101.3 kilopascal or 1.013 bar. If nothing is given, if it is given, I'll take that value. No issues at all. But from Dalton's law of partial pressures, you know, the total pressure is equal to partial pressure of dry air, which is one component, and partial pressure of vapor, This is the total pressure. Here PT stands for atmospheric pressure. PT stands for atmospheric pressure. Okay, fine, no problem at all. Let the complete mixture exist at a temperature T. What is T? Please understand carefully. This complete mixture is at a single temperature. Later on, I'll be telling you this is known as dry bulb temperature. Why is it known as dry bulb temperature? I'll explain, don't worry. Let T, right now forget about dry bulb. I don't know what is dry bulb, forget. Let T be the temperature of this mixture or temperature of air. You know very well whether it is dry air or water vapor, all are existing. मैं एक बात बताता हूं, ऐसा टच करके देखना. Everywhere you find the same temperature, whether it is water vapor which is in gas state or dry component, all are at a single uniform temperature. So temperature of the mixture of air is temperature of dry air as well as temperature of moisture, water vapor. Now, let the volume of the mixture be V. I repeat, let the volume of the mixture be V. Again, I am telling you very clearly, it's not that the vapor is occupying this much volume, dry air is occupying this much volume. No, my vapor is spread throughout, my vapor is occupying the entire volume, and my dry air, it is also spread throughout. मतलब ऐसा नहीं कि vapor is occupying one position, dry air, no, it is spread throughout. So everywhere the water vapor molecules are distributed. Everywhere the dry air molecules are also distributed. So I will write volume of dry air is equal to volume of vapor is equal to volume of the mixture. Now, let Ma be the mass of dry air in this mixture. I repeat, let Ma be the mass of dry air in this mixture. Let Mv be the mass of vapor associated with this mixture. I repeat, my dear students, I have taken some mixture. In that mixture, there is some dry air, there is some water vapor. In that mixture, there is some dry air, there is some water vapor. Good. Now I have to define specific humidity. Let's see what is specific humidity. I have told you very clearly, dry air, dA, is a fixed part. And water vapor is a variable part. It is a variable part. Now, in layman's language, when I use the word humidity, it is actually water vapor or moisture associated with air. It is a loose term. Humidity means amount of water vapor in air. Now let us define this technically, more logically. In loose terms, humidity means water vapor. Right. Please understand. Humidity means water vapor, that is MV. Let me define something like this. Look at carefully. It is the ratio, humidity means vapor. Generally what we do, out of the total, how much is vapor we define. Generally, out of the total, how much is the vapor. Let us take total, Ma plus Mv. And you know, my dear students, if I cool this air, you do one thing. A काम करो आप. You take out a cool bottle from refrigerator, expose it to atmospheric air. The air will surround the cool surface, colder surface, and water vapor which is present in air, it starts condensing and you will see moisture droplets coming out. Means water vapor is removed, means water vapor is gone, means mass of water vapor is gone, means this is changing. So in the denominator, if I put Ma plus Mv, this is changing. This is changing, the denominator is also changing. So I will not get a correct picture. So if I fix something here, if I fix something in the denominator, and if this is increasing, this will increase. If this is increasing, this will decrease. So I'll get a beautiful clear picture. That's why all my calculations in psychrometry or air conditioning are expressed per kg of dry air, which is a fixed part. So therefore, now I will not write Na plus Mv, but I write it with respect to fixed part. What does it mean? Humidity means, yes, it is showing humidity. Vapor is humidity. And with respect to fixed part. So it is expressed as kilogram of vapor per kilogram of dry air. Kg vapor per kg of dry air. So how do I define specific humidity or humidity ratio? It is the ratio of mass of vapor to the mass of dry air in a certain moist air. In a certain moist air, what is the mass of vapor? What is the mass of vapor in certain dry air? What is the dry air? For that dry air, how much is vapor associated? How much vapor is associated? So it is the mass of vapor to the mass of dry air in a certain moist air. That is humidity ratio. That is humidity ratio omega. That is humidity ratio omega. Okay, no problem at all. Now, let me try to derive an equation for omega. Okay, let us take certain moist air. And you know, my dear students, Mv is mass of vapor, Ma is mass of dry air, and the complete system is existing at a temperature T. So I will write this as temperature of dry air, temperature of vapor, or volume of the mixture is equal to volume of dry air, and this is volume of vapor. And the total pressure is equal to partial pressure of dry air plus partial pressure of vapor. Excellent, my dear students. Now understand carefully. You know, let me apply ideal gas equation. I told you very clearly it is something like mixture of gases. Let me apply ideal gas equation. I can apply ideal gas equation for vapor separately, for dry air separately, and for mixture separately. No problem at all. Okay, 8 second. Let me apply for vapor. If I apply for vapor, it will be, I'm applying ideal gas equation for vapor. Can we treat vapor as an ideal gas? Yes, in this case, because the pressure of vapor is very low. Under low pressure conditions, a gas can be treated as an ideal gas. So no problem at all. Therefore, PVVV is equal to MV RV TV. Absolutely. Partial pressure of vapor, VV. What is VV? What is VV? V, volume of the mixture. V is volume of the mixture, is equal to MV. RV, temperature of vapor, is also complete temperature, same temperature. Similarly, let me apply for dry air. PA VA is equal to MA RA TA. Absolutely. Let this be equation number 1. So PA, and you know VA. What is VA? V is equal to MA RA, and TA is T only. Very good. Let this be equation number 2. एक बार देखना. What is omega? Omega is humidity, means mass of vapor to the mass of dry air. Here you have mass of vapor, here you have mass of dry air. Let us divide 1 with 2. So what do we get? So PVV by PAV is equal to, PVV is what? For equation number 1, MV RVT, and PAV is MA RAT. Absolutely. देखो एक बार, and you can easily cancel it out, no problem at all. I can cancel V, I can cancel T. So I'm left with देखो एक बार, PV by PA. What is PV? Partial pressure of vapor. What is PA? Partial pressure of dry air, is equal to MV RV by MA RA. And I want MV by MA. Now tell me what is MV by MA? MV by MA is PV by PA into RA by RV. But just now you saw MV by MA is omega. Just now you saw MV by MA is omega. So therefore, now I'll write omega is equal to PV by PA into RA by RV. What is RA? It is the gas constant or the characteristic gas constant for dry air. RV is characteristic gas constant for vapor part. Okay. Now, you have studied in basic thermodynamics. Let me brief it out once. You have studied in basic thermodynamics. देखो एक बार, characteristic gas constant is universal gas constant by molecular weight, and this R bar is constant for all. That's why we use the word universal gas constant. As molecular weights are different for different gases, the characteristic gas constant will be different, because this being a constant, as M is varying, so different gases have different values of R. That's why it is known as characteristic of a particular gas. So I want RA. It will be R bar by molecular weight of air. And you know, the molecular weight of air is nothing but 29. Similarly, R of vapor is R bar by molecular weight of vapor. That is, R of vapor will be equal to R bar by vapor. What is water vapor? H2O. Hydrogen 1, but there are 2 atoms, plus oxygen 16. So it is 18. So therefore it is 18. Now let me put it here. Omega is equal to PV by PA into RA. What is RA? R bar by 29 by RV. What is RV? R bar by 18. So this is gone. So you are left with omega is equal to, this 18 will go to the top, 18 by 29 PV by PA. Let me go to the next slide. So omega is equal to 18 by 29 PV by PA. I think this value is, let me check once, 18 by 29, 0.622. So omega is equal to 0.622 PV by PA, and everyone knows P total, that is, this is atmospheric pressure. The total means atmospheric pressure is partial pressure of dry air plus partial pressure of vapor. So omega is equal to 0.622 PV by PA. Can you tell me what is PA from this? PA will be equal to PT minus PV. So therefore PT minus PV, absolutely fine. So this is the equation for specific humidity omega, which is expressed in kg vapor per kg of dry air. Make an observation. Omega, what is the assumption for deriving this equation? We have treated the mixture as the complete air as a mixture of ideal gases. We have treated water vapor as an interviews mein pooch sakte hai. Under what assumption we got this? See, assumptions are very important behind any equation. If you simply remember equation, so he may ask questions based on assumptions, especially in interviews. So please be careful, my dear students. Generally, the atmospheric pressure or the total pressure or the atmospheric pressure is more or less constant. When P, this is constant, देखो, omega is 0.622 PV by P total minus PV. The total atmospheric pressure is more or less constant. 0.622 is more or less, 0.622 is constant. Atmospheric pressure is almost constant. So when all are constant, omega depends only on what? PV. Therefore, omega is a partial pressure. Omega is a function of partial pressure of vapor. I repeat, omega is a function of partial pressure of vapor. इसका मतलब है, please understand carefully, as long as omega is constant, PV will remain constant because the total atmospheric pressure is almost constant. So this is very, very important. Subsequently, when I derive the equation, what is that equation? What is that equation? What is that? I mean, when I go for psychrometric chart, there you will be seeing the importance of this. So please, my dear students, note carefully. Omega is a function of partial pressure of vapor. Omega is a function of partial pressure of vapor. That is very, very important. And the final equation of omega is 0.622 partial pressure of vapor to the total pressure minus partial pressure of vapor. Absolutely fine. Now, as I said, absolute humidity. People use specific humidity ratio, absolute humidity. People use specific humidity, absolute humidity ratio interchangeably, no problem. But some people call this absolute humidity as humidity means vapor. So therefore, it is mass of vapor in certain volume of air. Mass of vapor, absolute, some textbooks they use, but actually interchangeably they use specific humidity ratio, absolute humidity. But some textbooks they use absolute humidity as mass of vapor. Humidity means vapor only. So mass of vapor in a certain volume of dry air, You know volume of dry air or volume of vapor or volume of mixture, it is same. So therefore, how much is mass of vapor in certain volume of air so how much mass? It is something like density. It is kilogram per meter cube. So the first term that we have seen, the first psychrometric term that we have seen is specific humidity or humidity ratio, but some people loosely use it as absolute humidity, but rarely absolute humidity is nothing but mass of vapor in a certain volume of air, in a certain volume of air. And you should keep it in mind that omega is a function of partial pressure of vapor. Omega is a function of partial pressure of vapor only. That is, as long as omega remains same, my PV, they are interlinked, they are same. So therefore, when I start developing the psychrometric chart, this condition, that is omega is a function of partial pressure of vapor, I'll be using it predominantly. So what physically omega is representing, that is very, very important. And I'll be talking about my second term, that is relative humidity. Now you may be wondering, sir, humidity to ek hi hai, then why do we need two terms? And beautifully I'll be explaining in my second video, that is relative humidity. And after explaining relative humidity and why we need two terms, I'll be explaining you very clearly. So this is in the series of psychrometric lectures, this is the first lecture, that is psychrometry 1. Thank you. and we'll be releasing the second video soon, that is psychrometry 2, and I'll be covering various psychrometric terms. Thank you, my dear students. God bless you.